right. Hi, riders. Hey, riders. Oh, I'm so country. Okay, so hopefully you've done your bell ringer. We're going to do a very quick mini lesson where I give you an example of what you're going to do today. And then your independent practice is just revision. So I've given everyone a partner. Well, let me rephrase. I have given everyone that turned in a project before 7 o'clock, I gave them a partner. And essentially what you're going to do is you are going to use a check sheet that looks just like this one. You're going to use a check sheet. You're going to read the questions and give them a check if they completed those tasks. And then you're going to write comments for each of the slices of the writing rubric. So that's your task for today. Before I ask you to do that, I am going to do an example so you can see it. So our standard for today is W9.5. That doesn't mean much to you, I know, but the objective is I can critique my partner's writing. So to critique something, it means, you see the good and the bad. You're able to identify what is good about it, what's not so great about it. All right, so let's look at this worksheet. This is the check sheet you'll be using. The directions say, first, read your partner's paper. Okay, so I'm going to come up here. This is the paper that I wrote when we brainstormed. Well, I brainstormed using this idea. Then I made an outline. Then I wrote it in a draft Tuesday in class. So this is the example I'm going to use. The author of A Quilt of a Country supports her point by using tons of flowery images, metaphors, and similes. For example, the very title of A Quilt of a Country is a metaphor. By using this metaphor, the author creates an image in the reader's mind, making her point more clear. She believes that America as a country has been stitched together like the colorful patchwork of a quilt. In addition, the author continues by calling America a mongrel nation. This means that America is like a dirty dog and you shouldn't trust it. Therefore, by utilizing language in her essay, I think the author supports her point that even though America isn't perfect, it has been created from many cultures and survived despite their differences. Okay, so we're going to go back over here. Then fill out the graphic organizer by copying the green check mark. So I'm going to go ahead and do that in the blank if the student's writing has that element. So yet again, this is just our writing rubric: development, questions, organization, questions. Did the writer answer the question asked? And then I say, hint, look at our topic sentence. Remember, every topic sentence you write should restate the question being asked. So I gave you this question. This is the question that your person that you are reviewing, they should have written their paper about that question. If they didn't, that's a problem. So you need to point that out and be like, fix it now. Say it more nicely than that, but all right. So let's look at my example. Remember, I'm writing to a different question because I wanted mine to just be an example. I will go ahead and tell you this restates the question. So it does. Now, did the writer provide evidence to support their point? All right, we have one piece of evidence. For example, the title is a metaphor. That's one piece of evidence. And then we say, in addition, the author continues by calling America a mongrel nation. That's another piece of evidence. So it's 2 pieces of evidence total. I'm going to make a note to the side. 2 pieces of evidence total. But I also want to take a second and talk about this phrase, mongrel nation, because actually, mongrel nation is a direct quote from the text. So it has got to be in these quotation marks. And remember, anytime you have a quote or use quotation marks, you've got to cite. So what do we do when we cite? We're going to do the author's last name. So Quinlan, and then the number, the paragraph number. Quinlan 1. And that is your citation. So yes, they did it, but we need to remember to put down in the comments, not to forget to add quotes and cite. Did the writer explain how the evidence supported their topic? So we're going to come back over here. Calls us a mongrel nation. This means that America is like a dirty dog and you shouldn't trust it. That is, I think, trying to explain that one. We're going to look at the first example. For example, the very title of A Quilts of a Country is a metaphor. And then it says, by using that metaphor, so by using a metaphor, she makes her point more clear. She supports her point. And then she goes on and says that what the point is. She believes that America is a country that's been stitched together like a colorful quilt. So this is very clearly explaining how our evidence supports our topic. Okay, so now we've got to add our comments. I'm going to say something like, this is a great start. I can tell you really tried to explain your evidence and you worked very hard. Now, make sure that you always use, hold on. See, all right. Make sure you always use quotation marks when quoting and you cite after quotations. I want to always start with something nice. So say something positive at the beginning, because we do know that this has been especially now, we're having a hard time. Just as a general rule, we're all struggling a little bit. And we want to remind our friends, our colleagues, or classmates, whoever you want to call them, we want to remind each other that we are appreciative of what they're trying to do. So start with something happy and then tell them what they can do to improve. All right, organization. Did the writer provide a topic sentence? Yes, we already looked at it. Did they provide evidence and explain it? Yes, we looked at that. Now, does the writer provide a concluding sentence that restates the topic? Oh, I clicked on the wrong one. Woohoo. All right, so the topic sentence, remember, our concluding sentence is going to restate our topic. So let's reread. The author of A Quilt of a Country supports her point by using tons of flowery images, metaphors, and similes. Let's scroll down. Therefore, by utilizing figurative language in her essay, I think I'm going to throw a fit. It's fine. We'll get to it. The author supports, there's that word again, supports her point, and then she's going to continue. She's going to explain what that point is. So yes, they are doing that. It could be better though. That's what I'm going to comment, but we'll get there when we get there. All right, does the paragraph make logical sense? So essentially, all this question is asking is, as you read it, are you confused? Because if someone takes the time to really work and think, then you're not going to be confused. So does the paragraph make logical sense? I think so. I think it makes sense. And then does the writer use transition words? So words like, for example, next, in addition, and yes, we do. We have, I think, 3, which is good. All right, so our comments. Overall, this paragraph is very well organized, but consider revising your topic sentence and concluding sentence. And then, it's kind of hard to just say, revise it, and then they'll be like, but I thought it was good the first time. So what I would do is I'd go back to their draft and try to think of some ways they could make it better. So for example, Therefore, by utilizing figurative language in her essay, I think we're going to take out I think. The author supports her point. That is so much stronger. We are no longer stating an opinion. We are stating fact. Crazy. What about this? By using tons of flowery images. Why do we need the word tons of? We don't. Make it more concise. Take it out. So those would be things we could say to this writer to help them. All right, now grammar. Did the writer use formal language? Remember, in academic writing, we're not going to use contractions, so no words that are combined to make one word, right? So no can't, don't, won't. And then we also can't use first person, so no I or me, and then we can't use second person, you or your. So let's take a second. I also want to address this exclamation point because I know I haven't outlawed exclamation points, but I'm going to go ahead and do it right now. Because in academic writing, this right here, it sticks out like a sore thumb. It doesn't feel like it fits. We want to say declarative statements. This is true. We don't want to say this is true. We want to say this is true because it sounds more honest. When you get into using a whole bunch of exclamation points, people stop taking you seriously. I'm just going to be real with you. So in academic writing, we're going to limit these. Very few. I will hardly ever say, yeah, put an exclamation point there. Just stick with periods and question marks. All right, then we also have Americans like a dirty dog, and you shouldn't trust it. Okay, that is a bad word, you're cussing. Just kidding, but it is a bad word. And then shouldn't, that's a contraction. And then we had I. So I think you are probably catching on. They've got isn't. All of these things, they're violating my rules. I feel violated. Okay. So obviously they're not going to get that check mark. I'm going to say, be careful. I see lots of informal language. Double check your work. That's how I'm going to leave it at that because you have it listed up there. I, me, no contractions. So you know how it be. There's a T in the middle of that word. That was weird. All right, so we're going to move on to mechanics, arguably the easiest section. Number 1, did the writer use correct spelling? Let's take a second. Let's look. I don't see any problems, so we're going to say yes. Do they have correct punctuation? Well, we forgot the quotation marks on mongrel, and also there's this weird interrupter with no commas or anything that I think I would just remove completely. But if you're going to keep it, we would probably need some commas. Oh, and capitalization. And then obviously, I'm sure you've noticed that therefore is not capitalized and I is not capitalized. So they're just going to get one check here. And then I'm going to leave this comment blank because I feel like they can just look and say, okay, I've got good spelling. I need to check my punctuation and capitalization. All right, kiddos, this is what we're doing. This is the assignment. You are using what you know. You are using this writing rubric, and you're sort of grading what the other person has to do. Not exactly, but sort of, You are taking what you know, taking what they've written, and taking this rubric and helping them, and they're going to help you. So I hope you're having a wonderful day. Please send me an email if you have any questions, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.